We continue with the feature IQP Reflections. I'm joined by Marissa Gonzales of the softball team. Reese, thanks for joining us.
Thanks. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to be seen. And if you could you let us know when and where your IQP was and give us a quick title and explanation?
Yeah, so last B term I went to Albania, and our project was to work with beer breweries around the country and try to mitigate their environmental impact, whether it be through water waste or through solid waste from spent grains.
So I don't think I could have made this up if I met you in 2016, maybe when you were still in California in high school. If I told you that you were going to be going to Albania as part of your educational experience, what word would you have used at that point?
Unbelievable. I had never heard of Albania prior to WPI.
So how did you find that location?
I had heard from previous people who had gone to Albania in the past, and they had always spoken pretty highly on the country and the experiences that they had. So it made me really interested and kind of one of my top choices to go.
Great. And how did you prepare for it?
A lot of studying. Our advisors actually made us read a book about the history of Albania. So that was actually, it sounds boring, but it was really interesting and it helped us a lot.
Give me one interesting fact about Albania right now. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Well, they were actually a communist country up until 1995. So they've just recently kind of opened up to the rest of the world.
Outstanding. And then how was ID 2050 in preparation for this?
A lot of work, a lot more than I expected. Definitely challenging with 2 other classes, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work, but we got to get to know like our group a lot better and other groups. And I think we were all ready to go travel together by the end of it.
Okay, so you get to Albania, let's just say midway through your project. What was a typical day like?
A lot of work. So we got to sit in our apartments, or some days we would go take a walk and sit in a little cafe and work on our essay, plan out future interviews and interview questions that we had for different breweries, and really planning where we would go for the weekends. Every weekend we would have to travel for a new interview. So figuring out buses and where we were going to stay. So a lot of planning ahead.
What was the language barrier like?
Surprisingly not bad. Albania is a very difficult language and does not relate to any other language out there. But a lot of them spoke pretty decent English. We had a couple who spoke Italian, and we had one person with us who could speak Italian really well. So we got lucky on that end.
Great. And talk a little bit about the nuts and bolts of your project itself. Is this something you totally created, or did you pick up on another group's?
Something that we totally created. So our sponsor was called Shukal, and they worked with wastewater in the city of Tirana, Albania. But they tried to spread their focus to breweries specifically and wanted to see what their environmental impact was kind of all over the country.
Was there an example of anything that happened during your project that you didn't expect? And if so, how did you deal with it?
Yeah, when we got there, our very first meeting with our sponsors, they wanted us to start working with the wastewater treatment plants kind of around the country when we got there, which we weren't really expecting and weren't prepared for. We had never ever looked into wastewater treatment plants, so we had to plan on interviewing them. We had to learn the wastewater treatment cycle, how that worked. So that was a lot of preparedness happened last minute.
And what did you learn from your overall experience?
The brewing process is pretty difficult. Wastewater treatment plant process is also very difficult. And then Albania as a whole, in terms of their brewing process and their beer and how their wastewater affects their country, was not very different from American breweries.
Are you sick of people asking you if you got to taste stuff at every brewery that you went to?
No, but that's definitely everyone's first question.
And would you have done anything different if you could go back and change anything about your experience? Would you change anything?
No, I had a blast.
Are you going to go back and visit? Is that on your list of places to go back?
Yeah, I really want to take a lot of the kids who were supposed to go this year who didn't get the chance to. Would love to go back for like a week or 2 and do kind of a run through over the country.
So the most stressful part, you get back, you got to wait a few days, your grade gets posted. Good story, bad story?
Good story. We got an A,
Good.
thankfully. So it
And
was good.
who'd you collaborate with on this project?
Our advisors were Professor Robert Hirsch and Professor Robert Kanicki. They were a lot of fun, so much fun to be around. Robert Hirsch is actually the new head of the Albanian IQP site, so
Awesome.
he's a lot of fun, and I highly recommend working with him in the future.
Great. And some people say, obviously, for you, I guess softball is going to be high on your list of things that are the best at OWPI, but a lot of students talk about the IQP project. It sounds like to you, it met the expectations.
Definitely one of my top 3 experiences. Had a lot of fun, and hopefully in the future, more people will be able to get to go to Albania after everything.
Great. So to review, your top 3 are softball, IQP projects, and being interviewed by me. So thank you very much, Reese. Thank you for sharing your IQP reflection with us. And we look forward to seeing you hopefully on a softball field soon.
Yeah, thank you for everything.
Thank you.